Leading this week's beef industry news is the USDA recall of a record 143 million pounds of beef products. It's a precautionary recall of beef from the Hallmark Westland Meat Company of California. The plant was caught on hidden camera attempting to process cattle unable to walk on their own. These downer cattle have been banned from the U.S. food supply since 2003. Hallmark Westland was a supplier of beef to school lunch programs. While there is no reason to think beef from the plant is unsafe, because of the multiple safeguards in place to keep beef safe, the plant's practices have resulted in increased scrutiny from the media and from many school districts. NCBA member policy strongly supports the downer ban and rigorous enforcement of the Humane Slaughter Act. The Beef Quality Assurance Program also has standards for humane and proper handling of cattle on farms and ranches. Cattlemen expect this same care to extend to other segments of the industry. Beef Producers Checkoff program has been working overtime reassuring consumers. For more information on this issue, go to beefsafety.org. New Agriculture Secretary Ed Schafer is leading the investigation into the beef recall. A few weeks ago, Schafer delivered his first official address at the Cattle Industry Annual Convention and Trade Show in Reno, Nevada. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Joe Sheely has more in this week's Cattleman's Capital Concerns.
Agriculture Secretary Ed Schafer was recently confirmed by the U.S. Senate. While less than a year remains in President Bush's term, Schafer made it clear he has no plans to be a caretaker at USDA.
When I visited with the President and had the conversation about me becoming the Secretary of Agriculture, he said, "Ed, I want you to weigh in on trade issues. This is important."
As Schafer addressed cattlemen, beef exports topped his agenda.
Just in the last couple of months, Indonesia and Barbados and the Philippines have all agreed to open their markets to U.S. beef under OIE guidelines. And we have resumed beef shipments to Russia. And in fact, the first load of containers were moved out just last month. And we expect to see continued growth in that market. We're encouraged by recent statements in the transition team of incoming Korean President Lee Myung-bak. He understands the importance of fully reopening the Korean beef market. We look forward to working with the incoming administration to achieve a full reopening of this important market as soon as possible. And we will continue working with the government of Japan at the highest levels to bring their market into full OE compliance as well.
As for the Farm Bill, Schafer said progress is needed before it will receive the President's approval.
The administration has serious concerns about both the House and the Senate versions of the bill. If the changes are not made in the area of taxes and reform on farm programs, the President has said that he will veto this legislation.
Schafer acknowledged cattlemen's frustration with soaring feed grain prices, but feels relief is coming.
For today and tomorrow, the growing demand of ethanol is likely going to mean that corn prices will stay higher than you want them to be. But I believe that the energy bill that Congress passed and President Bush signed last year does offer us an outline to where we are going to be headed in the future on this issue, and that is towards cellulosic ethanol production.
At the Cattle Industry Annual Convention and Trade Show in Reno, this is Joe Sheely for Cattleman to Cattleman.